When Maui police got the call about the crash on the steep cliffs of Hana, patrol officer Ian Custer knew it would be deadly.
The water is there, and are you getting wet? Are the waves hitting you?
Yeah, the waves were crashing and we were getting wet. I destroyed my taser and some other weapons.
In the mangled SUV behind the exploded airbags, Custer finds Anastasia's bloodied body. Dead from the sheer trauma of plunging 200 feet to the rocky shore below. In the sun visor and clutched in Anastasia's cold hand, strands of blonde hair, presumably her twin sister Alexandria's.
One person was pulling their hair, there's screaming going on. They're driving very erratic, high speed, low speed, swerving all over the road.
Maui accident investigator Sergeant Lawrence Beecraft and I went back to the crash scene. There's since been a concrete barrier erected. Beecraft takes me through his theory of what happened.
So, which direction were they coming from, and who is driving?
Alexandria was driving. They're going in this direction that we're walking.
And by the time they got here, had people already seen them fighting and swerving?
Yes.
The first thing Beecraft does is look for the tire marks on the road.
And where were they?
They're right where we're standing. There were two sets. There's one on the left, one on the right. I saw these marks. And the normal way of doing an investigation is you start from the vehicle and you work your way back. But in this case, I couldn't do that because the vehicle's over the cliff. I saw these two marks, and these marks are unique, very unique when I saw these. These are not braking. These were yaw marks.
Beecraft says yaw marks are curved marks that show the driver made a very sharp turn.
Turning towards the ocean?
Toward the ocean, correct. As I got closer to this dirt area, all in this area over here, you could see that this debris had been shot out. So these, not only was it a yaw mark, it was also accelerating. That tire was spinning. So as it approached this soft area, this soft gravel, it shot it out onto the roadway. It wasn't somebody braking for an animal. It wasn't somebody braking to avoid a car. You could see that the marks were marks induced by steering. It was oversteering. The vehicle could not steer any further than what it was.
Then Beecraft recovers the car's black box. Just like airplanes, newer cars have data recorders that document what was going on during the final seconds of the crash.
What did the data inside the car tell you?
It gave me that there was 100% acceleration. I believe it was up to 3 seconds prior to collision.
And could the car's data also tell you whether anybody hit the brakes?
Yes.
And did they?
There was no braking. No braking.
I mean, because if you're driving and you're turning this way and the ocean's right there, how do you not hit the brakes?
You don't hit the brakes if you want to go off the cliff.
How did Alexandria survive while Anastasia died? According to Sergeant Beecraft, it's simple.
The reason why she survived is that she's in a compartment. She's behind the steering wheel. The airbag deploys. It keeps her in the seat. Anastasia was not contained in that. Her area is bigger. She also had an airbag in front of her, side curtain airbags, and airbags coming out from the seat. She was bouncing around in that area.
Well, isn't it possible that it was just really bad luck that of all the places to go over, it went over the part where there was no wall?
No.
Why no?
This was intentional. There was no luck involved. This was not an accident. This was not a traffic crash. This was a criminal act.
A criminal act. That is what Maui police are calling the plunging cliff crash. Detective Sergeant Gordon Sagoon Jr. says the evidence shows Alexandria purposely crashed the car in a murder-suicide attempt.
And is it possible that they were just in a fit and they were arguing and she lost her mind and it created this horrible, tragic situation?
It could be, but I still believe it was very intentional. That she definitely drove that vehicle off that cliff to kill both herself and her sister.
But some have suggested Anastasia's pulling Alexandria's hair may have led to the dramatic steering wheel turn and fatal plunge. So now to test that theory and others, the police reenact what might have happened in the seconds before the car went over the cliff.
The things we wanted to do was disprove the theories that, one, the hair pulling, or we were trying to disprove that the passenger caused this whole incident. What we knew at this point was that the wheel was turned to the left 288 degrees. We knew that it had to be done in 1 second.
The vehicle homicide unit places colored masking tape on the steering wheel to represent a 288-degree turn, which is what the black box recorder showed.
You can actually turn the steering wheel 288 degrees within a second. So we're just trying to prove that it could be done.
The officers run through different scenarios. The passenger, Anastasia, grabbing the wheel. Even Anastasia trying to put her foot to the pedal and turn the wheel to the ocean.
What do you believe was the intent of the driver?
What the intent of the driver, just from our investigation, showed is that she had definitely intended to drive that car off the cliff at that point.
But why?
Couldn't tell you.
Next,
Was murder, was pretty simple and straightforward.
murder in the second degree.
A grand jury can indict a ham sandwich.
The trial and the weird things Alexandria allegedly did after her twin's death.
When I saw her in Anastasia's dress, it was disturbing.
And the dramatic moment that will send shockwaves all the way from Maui to the mainland.
So you don't think that it's possibly just coincidence that this is where they went off the cliff, off the road?
Absolutely not. Take a look behind us. It's basically a straight roadway.